This is Pat Soundbites Unplugged, the podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, Pat Calamari here, host of Pat Soundbites Unplugged for January 13, 2020. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Had a great show last night on WBXO, Classic Rock Redefined. And what a great chat today with one of the hardest workers in the business, great vocalist. He is the man, Mr. Jeff Scott Soto. Got his band Soto, is involved with the band Wet, and of course Sons of Apollo. And we're talking about Sons of Apollo as timing is everything. And they named their album, which is actually officially released this Friday on Inside Out Music, titled 2020. Makes sense, right? New year, 2020, new decade. And it's also, you can find it Roman numerals M.M.X.X, but Jeff likes to call it 2020. Great album, playing a lot of tracks off of it, including Last Night. A great chat with Jeff, talking about all four of the bands, talking about a lot of Sons of Apollo. They kick off a tour in Sacramento on January the 23rd, coming to New York at the Gramercy Theater on Thursday, February 6th. So sit back, enjoy, and buy this album 2020. If you like their first album, which really kicked ass, Psychotic Symphony, and that was the first time they really all got together. And of course, we're talking about Mike Portnow, Derek Sherian, Ron Bumblefoot, Billy Sheehan, and of course Jeff Scott Soto. This is, to me, more than a super group. This group is just downright super. And this is a lot different than, a little bit of different, and I talk about it on the interview of what Jeff does. This is more of a rock prog group. Since it's really led by Mike and Derek. But Jeff talks all about that. Buy the album if you liked what you heard when it came out in 2017 with the first album. Now they have experience working with each other. They know each other even better. And this album is really good. The videos are good. And go out and buy it. Do not just download it. Buy. And catch these guys on tour. Many of the shows are selling out very, very quickly, so I encourage you to get your tickets today. As always, sit back, enjoy, share, tell your friends. I really appreciate it. The podcast is doing very well. And as I always say, live, love, laugh a lot, because life is just way too short. So sit back. Here's Mr. Jeff Scott Soto.
It's Jeff Scott Soto from Sons of Apollo and Soto. You are listening to Pat Soundbites Unplugged. Turn this second up.
WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbites Unplugged podcast. Such an honor to have one of the hardest working, busiest guys in the music business, and has a wonderful, one of the great voices in today's rock industry, the wonderful, the very talented Jeff Scott Soto. Man, Jeff, it's a pleasure to have you on the line.
Oh, thank you, man. Look at the coincidence. I was on the phone ordering some calamari, and I got you.
I love it. Well, that works for me, man. Jeff is a busy guy. Besides Soto, besides Wet, he's got the Sons of Apollo, and I don't even want to say super group. I just call it. It is a super group. Forget group. It's super. Mike, Derek, Ron, Billy, and yourself. You guys kick ass. The new album 2020 or M.M.X.X comes out this Friday officially on Inside Out Music. In fact, I played Goodbye Infinity. I think like 3 times now already. I love it. I love Fall to Ascend. I love it all. So congrats.
Man. As I told you privately, we need more people like you. We need more outlets like you where you guys can play what you want to play. You know, God bless radio for the sake of being able to play all those classic stuff that people love and they still love to hear. But you know what? It's the the fact that we can't get the kind of exposure because of those rules. God bless people like you that, you know, we get that kind of exposure. We get people to get to hear us that normally wouldn't get to on radio.
I got a 3-hour show, and my first pretty much hour and a half is all new music, and I post on all my social media the album covers of all the tracks that I'm going to feature, and my phone is nonstop ringing going, oh my God, wow, great stuff. I mean, yeah, I throw in a couple of hits here and there to keep it honest, but everybody plays the hits as we talked about before, and there's so much good music that you guys it's just not getting out there. So I am blessed to do what I do, Jeff. So much to ask you, so much to ask you, and I know you got all kinds of interviews lined up today. Sons of Apollo. Would you say this band is pretty much led, watching the videos of, like, you guys put a video of the writing sessions of Fall to Ascend and stuff like that. This is pretty much a Derek and Mike band per se. They take the lead on it for the most part.
Well, Mike he's the creative side when it comes to that kind of stuff, filming stuff, content. He's the guy behind all the artwork and the song orders and stuff like that. And we knew that coming in. You know, we all have blessed careers for the past 30 some odd years. You know, we're all kind of masters of our own destiny. But in a situation like this, it can get to the point where you start butting heads. And Mike told us from the very beginning, he goes, guys, I got my hands full. I got a full plate with all the other things that I'm doing. If we're going to do this, I got to let you know up front that there's got to be one captain of the ship when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I just can't, especially with a band of this caliber, I don't want to sit here with a 1,000 emails every time we got to decide on something, because there's a lot of stuff to decide on. So if we're going to do this, I got to be able to pull my creative ranks. And you guys you got to trust me. You got to know that I know what I'm doing, and that I know what I'm doing. I have the best interest of this band for this band. So we all gave my blessing, and you know, he's pulling it off. Everything he's done, from choosing the album artwork to the way the shirts look to the set list, all that stuff is so great. And to be honest with you, I'm so busy, it alleviates me having to think or worry about it. I'm not going to sit here and go, hey, I don't want to do that song. I don't want to put that in that. You know, I just do it, and for some reason it works. For this band, it's perfect.
This band, the chemistry between you guys is amazing. When the first album came out, Psychotic Sympathy, and I started playing Coming Home and started playing other tracks, and people were like, wow, this is incredible. And you know, what I really enjoy, and I'll ask you, between Wet and Soto and Sons of Apollo, there's a difference between all three. I believe that there's a difference between all three, and tell me if I'm wrong. And creativity-wise, I think it probably keeps you fresh, and you probably enjoy the challenge. I mean, I think it's Sons of Apollo more prog rock. I think it's Soto is heavy metal and hard rock. I think a Wet more hard rock. So, am I on the right track with that, Jeff, at all?
You're absolutely spot on, and this is one of the reasons a lot of people criticize. Well, they used to criticize me more back in the day when I had so many things under my belt going at the same time or simultaneously. And my reasons for this, and it's the same as Mike. Mike's got his hands in so many cookie jars because we have so much we want to do musically. We can't do everything we want to do in one band. There's only one band on the planet that got away with it. That's Queen. They were able to tap into so many different resources and different styles of music and get away with it. And unfortunately, there's not really room or space or even interest for every artist to be able to do everything they want to do in the kitchen sink. So I'm blessed and humbled that I'm able to go out and do these things in different outlets. I got these 3 different bands, and completely different from each other. Similarities in some ways because I keep it all melodic. It's not like I'm doing just the Shouter Cookie Monster kind of thing on one and then singing like the Bee Gees on another. But I come from such a diverse, influential, inspirational, whatever you want to call it, musical background. It's impossible to do everything I want to do with just one group. And I'm blessed and humbled that I can do all these different things. I don't want to say get away with it, but I have an audience that is actually accepting of me being able to do all these different things.
Well, the minute I posted that I was having a chat with you coming up this week, I mean, my listeners were going crazy, going, man, what a great voice, what a great talent. I loved your solo origami that came out in May, was playing the title track, was playing World Gone Colder, right when that stuff came out, and you got a lot of fans that love exactly what you do. Talk about...
It really makes me happy. I mean, anything an artist, one thing an artist dreams about is that forget about the money, forget about the rock star and the fame and all that stuff. My biggest dream is that I can do music that people are interested in listening to and can enjoy and share it with others that also want to listen to it. That to me, it outweighs everything else. I don't care about the money, I don't care about the fame, I don't care about any of that stuff. I love the fact that I'm able to actually share something that other people want to listen to.
Well, they love listening to you, Jeff, and the list of albums, the ton of albums that you've been involved with for many different artists. I mean, there's no fluke to that. The people want the best out there, and you are certainly listed as one of the best, and I believe that. What measures, Jeff, do you take to prevent any injuries to your vocals? I mean, I've been blessed to talk to the great Paul Rodgers, the Glenn Hughes, the Mark Slaughters, and Paul tells me, hey man, you got to get sleep. Hydration, drink a lot of water. Glenn says sleep. Is there any things that you do to be able to, keep your main instrument, your vocals, as great as they are even today after 30-something years?
Yeah, well, those are two key items. For me, I also had the luxury of being smart enough not to get caught up in all the elements of, especially of touring. Because, it's easy for you to say, hey, I'm a rock star now. The rock star lifestyle is staying up late and drinking and doing drugs and not getting to more than 3 hours of sleep in between shows. That's what's going to kill you. You do those things. Of course, everything in moderation you can get away with, especially when you're young. But as you get older, it's hard to keep and retain all those things that were so much easier when you were younger. So I'm lucky that I never smoked cigarettes. I drink very seldomly and occasionally. I've never been a big heavy drinker. I didn't even start drinking until my late 30s, which again I was able to preserve everything that I was blessed with early on in my career. And so yeah, the sleep and the hydration is a major factor for me. People think I'm a jackass on stage because they see me chewing gum, but I actually chew a lot of sugarless gum throughout the day because you get you get glycerin. Glycerin to me is like, not to me, it's to us as human beings. Glycerin in our throats is kind of equated to like getting a lube job in your car. You got to get the oil so the pistons, everything's moving properly and it's moving smoothly. You don't have any of that lubrication in your pistons, it's just going to break. So you got to. I just chew a lot of sugarless gum, especially during the show, because it keeps that glycerin. It kind of keeps the throat greasy and slippery, and that's what's important. Because once it gets dry, it's like anything else on your body, like your lips or your fingers or your elbow. It just gets dry and it gets cracked, and it starts affecting you.
Amen to you, man. And I do the same thing for my radio show. People are like, what are you doing with the gum? And I go, it just keeps my vocals fresh. And it's just a habit I've been doing for quite a long time. So I'm all for that. You just got done with the TSO show. I love TSO. Been going to a lot of the East Coast shows. Became pretty good friends with another guy that you sing with, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Our buddy Joel Holstra. Is there any thought of switching it up that we could get you on the East Coast and send some of those guys on the West Coast?
Probably not. When I joined TSO 13 years ago, my partner in crime over there, Al Petrelli, he's the musical director basically for both sides. He's been there from the jump. He's the one that got me into TSO, and I'm on his coast. I'm on the West Coast band, and he told me, dude, as long as you're part of TSO, you ain't going nowhere. I'm here. You're here. You ain't going east. You ain't going west. You ain't going. You're sticking with me because. Yeah, we're like I said, we've been buddies for about 30 years now, and it's just a dream that even though we didn't really get to work with each other on another level of music, we get to do it now, and that's what TSO. And funny I bring Al up, we're actually doing a benefit show this Saturday in San Francisco. It's something we've been been talking about for years for Tony La Russa. He's got a big animal rights organization up there that it's amazing, and they do a benefit show every year with famous comedians and famous artists, and we're lucky enough to be invited, and we're going to be doing our little dance up there on Saturday.
Excellent. Well, I just had to ask you. I love TSO. I've been following them. Nothing better than getting ready for the holidays to go see Chris and Joel and all the girls. I mean, it's just really exciting. And speaking of Joel, and I was with Joel now, I want to say at the end of the Whitesnake tour, I got to hang out with Joel after the show, and I go, dude, and he knows. I said, am I the only guy playing, Scream and until I left you? And when I saw you on the video, and I said, is that Jeff? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. I literally burned out the CD and the album of that. I said, Joel, you got to put something else out. You got to go on tour. And he goes, yeah, I mean, between you and him, between Cher and TSO and Whitesnake, I'm like, he's like, well, I did it on the Monsters of Rock tour. I said, Joel, you have so much great music out there. It'd be great to see you out there. But it is what it is. I get it. Logistically, it's just so hard. But two of the busiest guys I know, you and Joel.
Well, we discussed it, and that's the thing. That's another reason why another band that you mentioned earlier, Wet, that we don't get to tour, we don't get to really do much because, I mean, I'm just crazy busy. It's almost insane trying to put tours together just because everything has to be done almost a year in advance now because it's I don't even know what's coming up, and I know that something's going to be up. So it's trying to organize it and balance everything is one of the harder things, but it is possible, and unfortunately to add all the extra curricular stuff that I'd love to do, that's near impossible. I've been doing these shows with Jason Bieler from Saigon Kick. We're doing these acoustic things, and those have been great, but those are easier to book than an actual tour. Touring obviously takes some time. It takes you got to get the availability, you got to get the freedom of the people. It's just a cluster. So we do our best in pulling it together, and right now Sons of Apollo and Soto have to be my main two priorities because I also got Trans-Siberian Orchestra to remember.
Well, all I can say, my man, keep doing what you do. Before I let you go, after all these years, Jeff, do you feel like you're finally making your mark on your own these days? I mean, 20, 30 years, your name is out there. Where are you comfortably? You just said between Solo and Sons of Apollo. Are you good with this? Is there anything else out there that you're looking to maybe accomplish?
Oh, man, I'm great with this. I'm great with what I have going for me, and I'll keep throwing it in. I'm blessed and humbled that I get to do this after so many decades. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just getting started. I mean, Sons of Apollo is a major player right now. It's a major factor in my life. And as we continue pushing this forward and trying to build this brand, the biggest thing is making people believe and understand that this is a band. It's not something that like an experiment or just a project. If it works, we'll continue. If it doesn't, we go away. This is as much a band as Soto is, as much as anything else that I've done in my past. And I really don't want to try to squeeze anything else out. I'm happy where I am right now, and I want to keep building what I have right now because I think I'm onto something good.
Well, you certainly are onto something good. The album 2020 or M.M.X.X comes out this...
Let's go with 2020. It sounds better.
Okay, 2020 comes out on Friday the 17th on Inside Out Music. The tour kicks off in Santa Monica on Thursday the 23rd. I am looking to hang out and see you guys on Thursday, February the 6th at the Gramercy Theater. I will tell all the listeners a lot of shows are selling out, so I encourage you to get your tickets, and I encourage you to buy the freaking album. Forget about this streaming bullshit. Buy the album and check out Soto. Buy Origami and everything that Jeff is involved with. Great music, great stuff. Jeff, I thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited. I haven't got the smile off my face for today, and I'm looking.
You put a big smile on my face. If everybody's still mourning and feeling the loss of Neil Peart, and it's nice to hear that music is just continuing to bind us and keep us brothers. And you put a smile on my face. Thank you so much.
No, you keep doing what you're doing, brother. I support it. I've been playing it, and I'm going to keep on playing it. And I look forward to hopefully saying hello and getting you to roll the dice down in New York City. If for all the dates and all the information on Sons of Apollo, go to sonsofapollo.com. Buy the tickets, buy the album. Jeff, I hope you enjoyed the chat as much as I have.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And by the way, when you come to the Gramercy, I'm not into the tentacles. I only like the rings. So just bring the rings.
Oh, man, I love you more and more. Jeff Scott Soto on WBXL and Pat Soundbites Unplugged podcast. We love this guy. Thank you, Jeff. Safe travels, and we'll see you soon.
Right on. Thanks, Pat.